It's mock draft time here on Ravens Rundown. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us as we will go over my latest mock draft for your Baltimore Ravens. Here's how it works. We run through the Pro Football Focus Simulator, and PFF picks all the selections for the 31 other teams, and then I get to jump in and make all of the Ravens picks. This is our first mock draft with the Combine going on, with the results of the Combine so far and everything. So we'll take that into account of what we know here on today's show. And we're not doing any trades this time. We'll save that for a future video. Before we get to the mock, I want to know, who is your favorite Ravens draft pick of all time? Not who the best is, but who is your personal favorite Ravens draft pick of all time? No wrong answers. Let us know in the comment section. We'll get started with today's show. The Ravens draft picks include a first-round pick at number 30 overall, second-round pick at 62, third-round pick at 93, fourth-round pick at 131, and then another fourth-round pick at 134, a fifth-round pick at 164, no sixth-round pick, and then they wrap up the draft in the seventh round at 248. The team needs for the Ravens include running back, wide receiver, corner, edge, defensive line, and offensive line for this year's draft. Let's go ahead and set the scene before we get to the Ravens selection at 30. Of the last five picks of who were taken leading up to the Ravens pick, Troy Faltado out of Washington was picked at 25. Peyton Wilson, linebacker from NC State, was picked at 26. Graham Barton out of Duke, 27 to the Cardinals. Tyler Nubin, safety from Minnesota, picked to the Bills at 28. And then Ennis Rakestraw Jr., corner from Mizzou, picked at 29 by the Detroit Lions. So now, the pick is in. With the 30th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Brian Thomas Jr. out of the University of Louisiana State, LSU. Wow, what a pick here, huh? Some people think that Thomas could go top 15, and we know the Ravens have a need at wide receiver, although it's not their number one need. This is something that, if he's still around at 30, I just got to say, you know what? I can't pass up on a guy like this, of this talent, how good he is. Spent the last few seasons at LSU, second team All-SEC this past year on a dynamic LSU Tiger offense with Jaden Daniels leading the way, Malik Neighbors on the other side. Mel's got him as the number 4 wide receiver in this year's draft and the number 13 overall player, or number 11 overall player, rather, on his big board. And the scouting report on Thomas is pretty impressive, too. Great acceleration and top speed. The guy can simply move. He can get on downfield. A serious vertical threat. And we know that Todd Monken, the next step in this Ravens offense with Lamar Jackson, they really want to create more of a vertical passing game and push the ball downfield. He's a snappy route runner. He also, we mentioned the open field. He navigates the open field very well. Does a really good job of finding ways to get open. The one kind of knock on him, he does get a little loose with his feet. So that's not necessarily ideal, but the rest of the scouting report is just fantastic on that front. The numbers for Brian Thomas Jr. last year in a crowded receiver room there at LSU still managed to have nearly 1,200 yards and 17 yards of reception and 17 touchdowns. He was fantastic. What do you guys think? Should the Ravens draft Brian Thomas Jr.? Y for yes, in for no. Your chance to be Eric DeCosta. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, strikeouts in baseball. You can mix and match different leagues from the NFL to the NBA, NHL, NASCAR, golf, and more. I even got some prize picks for the Combine. I got Jaden Daniels to have a 40 time less than 4.52, and Amarius Mims to have a 40 time of less than 5.28. Let's say I put $20 down, both those hit. I'm turning that into $60 on PrizePicks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. We move ahead to the second round, and the Ravens get help at the edge rusher spot. You can never have too many pass rushers, and that's where we find Bralen Trice out of the University of Washington at number 62 overall. Spent the last few seasons with the Huskies, was a two-time first-team All-Pac-12 selection, and also was named the MVP of the Sugar Bowl this past year as Washington made their way to the College Football Playoff and the College Football Playoff National Championship game. Kuiper has him as the number 4 outside linebacker on his big board. And Trice, known as a guy with good size, a thick build, not quite THICC, but you get the idea. Gets off blocks well, also is strong at the point of attack, and has got a good motor for hustle plays. He does dive at feet a bit too much, so shout out Rex Ryan for that. They'll get along well. Both big feet guys, but nonetheless, that's about the only major drawback when it comes to Bralen Trice. The numbers on Trice, 49 tackles this past year, including 12 tackles for loss and 7 sacks, and no forced fumbles this past year. To the third round we go, and we go Andru Phillips, who just goes by Drew, with the 93rd overall selection in the third round, getting us some help at the cornerback position. And Phillips, this is somebody that doesn't necessarily have all the accolades, but did a lot of different things well. Experience at corner on both the outside and in the slot, also in special teams as well. And this is a guy that's very good in zone coverage. He's good at positioning and leverage as well. Still very young in his football career. I think he's still, figuring himself out, essentially. Fills the run lanes well, plays fearless at his position. Got the heart of the lion really just going inside him, which is what you love to see. And he does lack ideal recovery speed, but everything else looks pretty good. A guy that's still, we mentioned, coming into his own, still figuring out exactly where he's going to be. Hasn't played to his potential just yet. The numbers on Drew Phillips, no interceptions last season, but did have 5 pass breakups, 48 tackles, and 1 tackle for loss. Now, let's ask you, who's a player the Ravens should draft? We've got over a couple guys. Still got more to get to here in just a bit, but your chance to weigh in. Tell us in the comments section who you'd like to see in Baltimore. We are your Ravens Draft News and Rumors headquarters here on Ravens Rundown as we're talking about everything you need to know leading up to the draft. Got a great team covering the Combine in Indianapolis this week, so we're bringing you coverage of that all week long. We also are bringing you these mock drafts and everything you need to know leading up to the draft. This is the channel for you. Lock us in. Subscribe now for free. You'd be glad you did. To the fourth round, we get the much-needed offensive tackle that the Ravens will be looking for this offseason. Isaiah Adams out of the University of Illinois. A wide-bodied, thick-limbed fella. Maybe a guy that might be actually THICC thick. He's got a firm anchor to absorb force, solid burst with the body control at his position, a physical demeanor. This guy is, I would describe, he's kind of scary looking to look at. You don't want to mess with this guy if you were in the street. Narrow with his feet at times, so not necessarily a great thing there on that front, but overall pretty solid scouting report for Isaiah Adams there. Another fourth-round pick for the Baltimore Ravens. We go safety, and we go Cole Bishop out of the University of Utah. Geno Stone likely gone. The Ravens looking for depth at this position. Here's where Cole Bishop comes in. A versatile defender, displays good vision. He sees the field very well, which is exactly what John Harbaugh wants to hear about his defensive backs. Route recognition to see those threats when something is coming. He's got the right idea of when it's going to happen. A strong tackler, which is great news for a defensive back, and does show some stiffness in coverage. So not great on that front there. A couple more names to get to before I wrap up this mock draft. But first, I want to ask you guys, what is the biggest need for the Ravens in this year's draft of the things we talked about, different positions of need. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Couple more for you here. Let's go running back in the 5th round. We know the Ravens are going to need some help there. And what a value find. We get Dillon Johnson, the all Pac-12 running back this past year who rushed for over 1,000 yards with the Washington Huskies. We find him in the 5th round. And this is somebody that's ready for immediate playing time in this Ravens offense. Then in the 7th round, our final pick, we go linebacker Nathaniel Watson with the 248th overall selection, adding to our linebacker room. Patrick Queen likely gone. Watson comes in. So, to recap our draft selections for the Baltimore Ravens, Brian Thomas Jr. at number 30, Bralen Trice at number 62, Andru Phillips at number 93. At 131, we go with Isaiah Adams, the offensive tackle from Illinois. And then our final 3 picks, Cole Bishop, the safety out of Utah at 134, Dillon Johnson at running back at 164, and Nathaniel Watson, linebacker from Mississippi State at 248. How did I do, guys? I thought I did a great job. I'd give myself an A+. Anything less than an A, and you're a hater. Get your red pens out. Tell me how I did with my mock draft, and we'll see you next time here on the channel.